Traveler, Paimon, it's been a long time.
Oh, hey, Hoishin! Long time no see! Fancy meeting you here. How's work these days?
Thanks to the help of people like you and colleagues like Ganyu, but I've been feeling distracted at work lately. It's a long story. But my father...
Huh? What's wrong with...
Nothing specifically. He's not unwell. He says he's always said, old age comes for us all in the end. Anyway, my father's currently on the second floor of Yangsheng Tea House. Why don't you come pay him a visit? He seems very fond of you, too.
Sure, let's go! Uncle Tian, we're here to chat with you.
Oh? What a lovely surprise. Welcome. Hoishin. I heard that you've been traveling all over the place recently. Hoishin told you, didn't she? Don't worry. I'm quite all right. It's just the years gradually catch. As I grow older, I'm starting to find that with many things, I am still very much in good standing as the...
How difficult is it to transfer the Tianshu?
Oh, well, you see, the Tianshu is historically speaking, the Tianshu rarely appears in public. We also want to keep any prospective Tianshu candidates free from influence by outside forces. For these reasons, the incumbent Tianshu typically recommends their candidate of choice.
So in other words, you pick someone, and then Lady Kuching, Lady Ningguang, and the other Qixing appoint them?
Correct. Unfortunately, due to my health, I won't be... Not to despair, however, because I found someone exceptionally capable to act on my behalf.
Oh? Who is it?
I'm heartbroken. I thought it might take you a little longer than this.
It's Yelan!
Jackpot. Uncle Tian, fancy joining me? You'll be among the first to get to know the next Tianshu.
What do you think? Paimon thinks so too. It can't be a bad thing to be on good terms with a new...
All right then. Though, I gotta say, Uncle Tian, you say you're into behind-the-scenes planning? My work's of the covert variety, too.
Huh? Yelan, you want to be the next Tianshu?
I'm not opposed to the idea, but I suspect Ningguang wouldn't let you go very easy. So, how about this? If your investigation reveals that none of the other
Deal. Well, you guys take your time. Everything's all set for the assessment. Meet me on the first floor when you're ready. Until then, have a pleasant conversation. Oh, and no need to pay for your tea. As the new owner of this fine establishment, this round... You're all set?
Uncle Tian seems really worn down. It's like all his energy's gone.
Yeah, it may sound harsh, but Uncle Tian is past his prime. He's not cut out for this anymore. So he's recommended 3 candidates. Their names are Qianwei, Mingbo, and Qianwei is a wealthy entrepreneur. Mingbo works at the Liuwei Ministry. Try to keep all that in mind. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you forget, since we'll be assessing...
Qianwei, Mingbo, Jiyi.
Let's leave that until we get to Yuehai Pavilion. All right. Heads in the game, people. The stakes don't get much higher than a change in the chi...
Got it. We'll keep our eyes wide open.
My legs are getting sore. What is wrong with this assessment officer? This is a huge occasion and I've dealt with all kinds of people in my time, but never have I been made. That's called being complacent. If you're happy to just accept the way things are.
Oh, come on. That's just... Now you're...
All right, you two. Let's not get into a big argument over this. It's not worth it. Qianwei, that was a bit uncalled for. And Mingbo, cut him some slack. We've all been standing around for a while. It's natural to begin. Look, how about this? There's no rule saying we're obliged to stand up while we wait, so why don't we borrow some chairs from the guild nearby?
Fine. They're not the best quality chairs, to be sure. But under this...
It looks like all 3 candidates have arrived. We'll meet them formally soon. Before that, I've split it into 2 stages: current affairs and planning, and face-to-face interview. In the first stage, candidates are required to submit a manifesto for Liyue's development. In the second stage, we will ask them some questions in person. Writing a manifesto takes time, so I informed them of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submitted.
Wow. One of them is...
It's also worth mentioning a stipulation I gave them. Whoever is appointed as the new Tianshu will be expected to... Failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to change their plan. Therefore, these 3 piles of documents in front of... There's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression of what... I'll be waiting off to the side. Just let me know when you're done. Finished, huh? What did you think?
Everyone took it very seriously.
Of course they did. They have the chance to be picked as the new Tianshu, so you... And keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute their plan as written. No, that's for me to know and you to find... We'll see the candidates now. Let's do one at a time.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh? So you 2 are the assessment officers, are you? I had assumed that given the great import of this situation, Lady Ningguang would perhaps be assessing us and... I trust you've read through my manifesto? I'd be more than happy to clarify any details you found difficult to grasp. It was...
Mind your tone, mister.
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone in particular. I was simply stating a fact. Cloud Retainer? You know this Adeptus? Oh. With your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition. Perhaps you will be able to
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes. Please, introduce yourself.
I'm, Mingbo. I've worked there for, 9 years, 5 months. I have 12 active cases at the moment. They should be concluded in, My current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for, auditing the accounts. To be more...
Is it just Paimon or...
You know what? Let's leave the self-introduction there and move on to some questions.
Oh, Okay.
Hello. Not gonna lie, I'm feeling a... What would you like to know? You're here to assess me, so ask away and I'll answer your question.
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields. How can you be sure that you have the ability to put your plan into action?
Very fair question. I completely understand where you're coming from. But I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places, talked to lots of people with far more expertise than myself, and my manifesto is the conclusion of these efforts. Of course, two different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach two very contradictory conclusions depending on which one you're focusing on. What I've tried to do is strike a balance. In other words,
How do you plan to determine whether you are right or wrong about your proposed solution being the optimal one?
a great question. Well, I'd start by having my colleagues and the secretaries of the Yuehai Pavilion evaluate any proposals before implementation. Post-implementation, it would all come down to the result. If it turned out that my judgment was to blame for poor results, I would take responsibility.
Nice answer. All right, next question.
He seems like a great guy. Everything he said was thoughtful and logical.
Here's my take on what we just learned. As you saw, Qianwei is highly knowledgeable. He proposes many excellent ideas in his manifesto, but he is very proud and incredibly stubborn. He doesn't care much about... Mingbo's plan is more thorough and more measured. You can tell he's meticulous in his work, but he and Qianwei are otherwise polar opposites. Mingbo is not very articulate and comes across as very timid and
Perfect summary. Paimon couldn't agree more. You're good at this, Yelan.
Last but not least, Yi. His manifesto is full of pertinent details, his methodology is sound, and his proposals cover a broad range of fields, which is the depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. Plus, he is modest and good at dealing with people. But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle Tien's. Having someone like Yi take the position would...
Great.
We'll see. Let's go back and report to Uncle Tien.
I see.
All right, then let me ask this. The ideas in Yi's manifesto are very similar.
I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of candidates, for fear of effect. Those 3 candidates have all studied under me in the past. It's only... But Qianwei went on to focus on his business, and Mingbo has always been occupied with his work at the Ministry of Civil Affairs.
Whoa. So how did you get to know them all, Uncle T?
Qianwei was referred to me by an old friend. Mingbo came to my attention in the course of my work, and we first met while fishing. Gradually, as we got to know each other, we started discussing all sorts of topics. Yi came from a poor family, and his parents died when he was very young. He reminded me of a younger version of myself, so I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out fishing and noticed quite. And now, all of a sudden, he's grown into a mature young... The young are growing up, and I am growing old.
I don't know, Uncle Tien. You still seem in pretty good shape to me. You might have another few years of work left in you, don't...
Oh, you. There's really no need to console me. Having less energy than I...
Sounds like you sure love fishing,
Ooh, there's nothing quite like fishing to pass the time. Ooh, and freshly caught fish, they make them...
Fresh fish soup.
Doesn't it? Also, some time ago, when we've been fishing recently, Jury always brings some extra ingredients he prepared in advance. That flavor makes for a fond memory. But it might...
Oh, can Paimon come next time too? Paimon really wants to try it.
Let's get back to the matter at hand. Uncle Tian, we've reported back.
I appointed you as the assessment officer. Had you not asked me why Jury's ideas were so similar to mine, this decision must be guided by what is fair and right. Please disregard all other considerations. Remember, you must be thorough.
Understood. Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tian. Look after yourself. So, it's gonna be Juri, right? His manifesto was written well, and he's the best speaker.
Easy. Let's not rush. There's no time limit for this assessment.
Huh? So, are you gonna give them...
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. But let me get... The biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost always hidden beneath many... For example, when you...
Yes?
Lady Yelan, what are your orders?
Ugh! Who are they?
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyan as my trusted assistants. They are always standing guard nearby. They also perform very... Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And there's also Upei, who's not...
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right?
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not a little wind and wave.
Shanghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan, go to the Ministry of Civil Affairs and look...
Yes, ma'am.
So what about Juri?
Juri, well, obviously as the most promising candidate, we will... Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people passing through there.
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talking to Bulai? He does business at the North Wharf. Maybe he has some news for us.
That's actually not a bad idea. Let's...
What's Bulai doing?
Look, your asking price for this batch is just too high. I can't buy in at this.
Come on, hear me out. I'm telling you, this is the single best. I accidentally dropped one into a well, and even the water turned sweet.
Even so.
All right. I'll let you in on a little secret. The boss of Second Life also wants to buy from me, but I haven't responded yet. If you won't take him, I'll just have to partner with them instead. And neither of us wants them.
Okay, well, when you put it that way, I'll accept your ask. Oh, what are you doing here? And to be clear, these Sunsettias are mine. I got to them first. Don't get any ideas.
Actually, we want to ask you about a guy called Juri. Have you heard of him before?
Juri? Yes, he's quite well known. I've heard a story about him. They say he was born into poverty. His parents died when he was young, and he was treated cruelly by the local community. One of his neighbors was terribly rude to him all the time. but Juri never retaliated. And when his neighbor went bankrupt, he even helped support the family. He returned cruelty with kindness, injustice with peace offerings. A gentleman of talent and character, and how did I not notice him sooner? In fact, maybe I'm not too late.
Oh, he sounds like a decent man. We can finally bring...
Why are you asking about him anyway? You aren't look, well then, in that case, the higher bidder takes the... That's Juri.
Where?
It's him, all right. Looks like he's chatting with Linlong. Come on, let's follow them and try not to let him see you. We want this information to be as truthful as possible.
I'll just go and fetch an employment contract. And hey, don't try and cut me out of this.
Try not to let him see you. We want this information to be as truthful as possible.
I understand. Let's walk and talk.
My friend.
So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine, who likes to have a drink now and then, he fancies himself as a man of culture, but doesn't care for needless extravagance. So I thought I might buy him a set of high-quality fakes.
How very thoughtful of you. Leave it to me, then. Come and collect it at Shigu Antiques whenever is convenient.
Thank you very much, Miss Linlong.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Juri. These days, it's quite rare for someone of your standing to still keep up with their old friends. It's nice to see. I'll be sure to pick out a good set for you. You can count on me. Juri seems to get along really well with it. Are you satisfied now, Yelan? Seems like
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. Let's go check out the wharf.
Do we have to? Wait, you're not just trying to dig up some dirt on Juri because...
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But hey, if I do become Tianshu, you'll be able to try all the finest food for free. How does that sound?
We will? Well, come on! Off to the South Wharf we go!
The wharf is as busy as ever. I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish to the nearby fishmongers.
Welcome. What would you like to buy today?
Sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the, Liyue Anglers Association. We've heard about this young man called Juri, who's supposed to be a fantastic fisherman. Just wondering if...
Whoa! Yelan made up a whole fake identity.
Ah, yes, Juri. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. I've got some friends who travel all over the place, and apparently he had a rather tough time growing up. Had to work several jobs alongside his... How does that saying go? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, we think so too.
But I'm afraid your Anglers Association might be in for a disappointment.
Oh? Why's that?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one of them. He fishes at the wharf and sells what he can. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally nothing to write home about.
That sounds fantastic. I've got a couple of other things to attend to right now, though, so...
Sure thing. See you.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him. Come on, let's keep asking around.
Here to buy some fish? It's 300 for one or 3 for 1,000. You better hurry. When they're gone, they're gone.
Hello, we're from the Society for Fish Price...
Wow, she switched identity again!
Society for Fish Price Research.
Please, don't worry. We're just here to conduct a simple survey. We've heard about a certain Jer-E who's been selling fresh fish at low...
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was him.
Oh? Why is that?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and he was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged, and he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him some food. But, I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over... It's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to
You'd rather he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I just had a feeling that I think he has pretty low self-esteem. But hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. What he's achieved already puts most people to shame. And nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Not a problem. And just for the record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the price of my fish.
The more times you say it, the less convincing it becomes.
Doesn't have a lot of mora to his name.
Hey, it's you guys! Wait, what brings you to me?
The truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory. We heard tell of a great martial artist, Master Dugu.
Really? People said I know everything.
But of course. We also heard that Master Dugu is a kind and virtuous swordsman who
Great! So what do you wish to know? Nothing happens on this street that I don't...
Now she's lying to a kid.
So, Master Dugu, have you heard of one by the name of Jer-E?
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking about these days? I've heard many tales of Jer-E. For example, probably because it's nothing that important. I prefer stories about sword...
Oh, I can completely understand that. Then let me ask you this. Do you remember roughly when the grown-ups started talking about Jer-E?
Oh yeah, I know that. It was about 2 or 3 months ago. Before that, people always used to talk about Jer-E in a kind of nasty tone of voice. But 2 or 3 months ago, suddenly everyone started to like him. Sometimes he gives me candies, so I'm glad that people are starting to like him now.
Just as I thought.
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean, just as I thought, Master Dugu is indeed as...
I'm not that great. Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people I've never seen before
Oh, definitely.
Great! So next time I see them, I'll say hi. And I guess I can share some of my candy.
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yanshang Tea House about what they're up to. I'm sure my friend would also like to
Thank you, ma'am!
You're welcome. Well then.
Until we meet again.
Any of that sound strange to you?
Strange? What was strange? Jer-E seems to have a great reputation. Uncle Soon and Uncle...
True. But the issue is, where did his sudden celebrity come from? It almost...
Sudden? too good to be true?
So he returns cruelty with kindness and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Jur-E's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. But beyond that, he wasn't interested in the... Plus, there's the fact that all this praise of Jur-E has only been his childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor. None of these are recent events.
When you put it like that, it is...
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look... Jur-E was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as I'm concerned. The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned he's either spent on studying, traveling, or paying off debts. Right, and that changes everything. It can mean That's the worst case scenario. But all too often...
Someone's trying to gain influence over the Qixing? Even if we ask Jiri about it...
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Don't worry, I've got a plan. Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since the successful candidate is duty-bound to implement their plan after taking office, whoever is secretly helping Jur-E must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. Come on, let's get back to Yanshang Tea House. Jur-E's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. Looking for details that don't add up? I'll divide the reports into 2 piles. You take one, I'll take the other. Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long. So...
Yikes! We better hurry!
Whatever else Uncle Tian might think of Jur-E, the fact remains that he's one of his favorite students. Any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious. We'll have to look...
Even though Yelan took half? Well, we gotta start somewhere. All this reading is giving Paimon a headache. Let's take a break.
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yelan's little helpers, Shanghua! If you're back, that means you finished investigating Tianwei, right?
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just tell us your findings.
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Tianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on to give a generally positive... The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Tianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous in the way he works. Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of their background.
Who'd have thought?
Is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check the accounts of the businesses under his name?
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's the thing. I asked around and found out that almost all of Qianwei's account, where he buys from and sells to, should be confidential business information, but he doesn't seem interested in protecting it at all. Qianwei often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once he's made enough mora off of it, it's like he gets sick of it and releases all of his trade secrets. It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like that can still make mora is...
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing business to make mora, but
To validate his theories. No wonder his manifesto contains so many insights. It's all the...
I'm back! Huh? How could...
Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills and am always one step ahead of the competition.
You... Ugh, whatever. I'm not getting into an argument with you. If I hadn't had something... Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating Mingbo.
Well, we're all ears.
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Mingbo struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous, especially when he's chatting. But after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, the feedback from the Ministry of Civil...
In your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil Affairs' appraisal of Mingbo at all exact?
I don't believe so. Mingbo is someone who has slowly but... According to Miss Yu, the ministry often gets Mingbo to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. People feel much more confident in something if it has his stamp of approval. Oh, and also, there was once someone in the ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Mingbo gave them the scolding of a lifetime. Apparently, he can be terrifying when...
whoa, that's hard to imagine.
Like I said before, things are not always as they...
Ah, so that's what you meant by that.
Thank you both. You're free to go now. So, have you finished reading the manifesto?
We still have a bit left.
I can't see any immediate problems looking at the individual entry. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Cheungshu Pool redevelopment plan. Cheungshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once wrought havoc there, so there are even more secrets buried deep underground. At some point, a rumor began to go around that there is great treasure buried beneath Cheungshu Pool. A long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing, a mining team conducted an exploratory excavation there.
So, did they find any treasure?
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The only way they could have gotten through the solid rock would have been by The technology wasn't mature enough at that time, so the excavation project was shut down and the treasure... Zhi-Yi's manifesto focuses on solving problems, and this treasure hunt seems extremely... Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on this treasure. The treasure...
Excavation? Project? Treasure? Did we read anything similar in our half of the manifesto? Oh yeah! Zhi-Yi said the Blackcliff Forge workers...
Did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So Zhi-Yi wants the Blackcliff Forge to excavate...
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is Zhi-Yi's secret supporter?
No, not likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before. They aren't involved with any powerful factions at present. They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put so many resources into a risky project like this. Still, since the clues are pointing toward the Blackcliff Forge, we should see where they lead. We may well find something new.
Qianwei and Mingbo both turned out to be completely different than what we thought. What about Zhi-Yi? Is there another side to him too?
Let's look around for clues.
Standing guard, not so bad.
What's this? A diary?
From the back, it looks like a ledger. But it seems they also use it as a site log. We don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting, don't you think?
You think they're suspicious?
Yes. Look, it says right there, one of them's already been promoted to At this rate, by the time the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan is ready to roll, they'll be the That'll give them the chance to take a lot of liberties. They can copy any secret texts or steal any treasure they find underground. Imagine if we didn't suspect anything. By the time Jur-E recommends the Blackcliff Forge for the excavation project, at most we would no red flags if all they did was change some key staff. And even if we decided to vet the staff individually, they'd have... That's the advantage of planning this far in advance.
When you put it like that, it all makes sense. If we hadn't found this out, so who's really behind all this?
That's a question for the newcomers. But let's start with that worker.
Excuse us. We want to ask you about the new...
You want them to teach you? I gotta say, these newcomers are in tip-top shape. Fast learner. My only complaint is that they're always going out drinking at night. I guess they just need some time to adjust. I'm sure we'll get to know each other over time.
They go out drinking. This area isn't exactly renowned for the nightlife. I'm guessing it's a long trip to the...
You got that right. They tell me they go all the way back to... It rained after work today, so they actually stuck around at the site for a while. But as soon as the rain stopped, they went out... Hey, you're only young once, right? I say, if they can hack it,
Interesting. Let's go Looks like our hunch was on the Mora. These newcomers are very... Drinking in Liyue Harbor, huh? Some cover story. I'll wager they've been going to intelligence up. Good thing it rained today. It means they'll leave footprints. I doubt they'd give themselves away that easily, but let's follow them and try our luck.
They went that way! Hurry, we gotta catch up! These footprints are heading towards Liyue Harbor. Maybe we were wrong about them.
Just as I thought. They didn't go to Liyue Harbor. They went that way. The footprints stop here. But, judging from the direction, I'm guessing their destination was that abandoned house. Looks like we were too late. This has gotta be where the newcomers rendezvous with whoever they're working for. But all the look at these ashes. Someone was burning documents not long before we arrived.
Could there be anything left? Maybe the wind could have blown the fire out before everything was...
The odds of that are very slim. It's practically impossible. I've checked.
Why don't we wait for them back at the Black Cliff Forge? They've got to go back there sooner or later.
We can't count on that. Clearly they were based here at one point, but it's mysteriously abandoned now. To me, that says that whoever's behind this has moved them somewhere else to throw our investigation.
Darn! Guess this is where a trail runs cold.
Make no mistake, the purpose of our trip wasn't to find any solid evidence. We just need to figure out who's behind. I smelled something peculiar the moment. Those newcomers probably thought they'd be safe as long as they burned the letters. But what they failed to consider is that paper and ink from different regions produce different
Really? Paimon can't smell anything, do you?
There is a certain place with a freezing cold climate where there's nothing but ice as far as the eye can see. Some wealthy people there put floral fragrance in their ink as a way of injecting a little romance into their... When that fragrant ink is burned, this is the exact odor that it leaves behind. Exactly. The evidence will soon be blown away by the wind, so it's nothing we can arrest anyone with. But it's all I need. Now I know who we're dealing with. I can...
Lady Yelan! Oh, thank goodness I finally found you. I thought I'd never see you.
Who are you?
Don't be alarmed. This is Upei. He's Wenyuan and Shanghua's colleague. I sent him to look into Zhiyi's regular contacts. Since Zhiyi likes fishing, Upei thought he might know some of the fishermen and sailors, so he took a boat out to sea to ask around. I left him a note at Yanshang Tea House telling him to look for me at Black Cliff Forge when he got back. If there'd been an ambush waiting for us there, it means we'd have had some back. So, what did you find out at sea?
Forgive my incompetence. I'm afraid I've come up empty-handed. I asked all the fishermen multiple times, but none of them had any interactions with Zhiyi before. Then the waves got so choppy I ended up falling overboard. Fortunately, someone managed to... When I got back, I heard that you'd gone to Black Cliff Forge and might need backup, so I went straight there as fast as I could. Didn't even stop to change my clothes.
Well, Uncle Tian said that Zhiyi once bought a recipe from one of the fishermen. Did you hear anything about that?
What? No, that's not possible. It's absolutely not possible. Lady Yelan, I'm telling you, I spoke to every single...
Interesting. Then I wonder how that even more wonderful...
Fish soup? What fish soup?
Nothing. Our priority right now is to find a way to get our hands on... Well, any suggestions? Not a bad idea. Upei, what do you think?
Honestly, I've already tried following Zhiyi, but the guy's too cautious. Never meets with anyone.
Okay, so tailing's out.
No, we'll still need to tail him. But first, we need...
Groundwork?
When you've worked in intelligence for a long time, you'll understand that no one can stay on high alert forever. Especially when he thinks he's about to win. Tomorrow morning, I'll announce his victory at Yuehai Pavilion. Take a guess what you think he'll do next. Be sure to arrive on time. You won't want to miss the ship. It looks like we're all here. Well then, time for me to announce the results of the I won't drone on about the importance of the Tianshu roll. Suffice to say that Uncle Tian entrusted me with the monumentally...
All of us here know the score. Don't beat around the bush. Just get on with it.
Qianwei has many pioneering ideas, but some of his plans are Mingbo is reliable, but not quite ambitious enough. And because of his personality, he's... In contrast, Zhi is evenly balanced across the board, and after much consideration, I have
What?
Thank you. Honestly, I'm a little surprised to hear my name being announced. In my estimation, all three of us are worthy candidates for the Tianshu position. As your competitor, would either of you entertain the possibility of working with me in the future and taking on some of my workload?
I'll have to see. I'm in a bed.
I don't mind, as long as I can help.
Okay, well, that's all from me. Zhi, you'll have some preparation to do. It won't be long.
I will live up to the Tianshu name. On this, you have my word. I should go. I need to pack my things, and then I think a celebratory meal.
Count me out. I'm not in the mood.
Zhi seems pretty relaxed now. This would be a good time to follow.
Hey, traveler, tell me something. What if you can't answer that, I'm not accepting this result.
I, also wouldn't mind...
Oh no, if we get stuck here, we won't be able to leave.
Follow him.
Yes, ma'am.
We finally got rid of them.
Lady Yelan, Zhi has gone towards Feiyun Slope.
Follow him, quickly.
So Zhi really sided with the Fatui? But Uncle Tian thinks so highly of him. Why would he do this?
Difficult to say, but everything should become a lot clearer when we find him.
I'm sorry, Lady Yelan. We lost him. He's too good at this. We weren't able to keep following him without being...
How the heck did he manage to shake Yip? I guess Zhi didn't let his guard down.
No, Upei says he's much more relaxed than usual. Maybe it's just how he's wired.
But how?
Don't blame yourselves. Let's not forget he was trained by Uncle Tian himself. Evading detection is not... If I'd asked you to tail Uncle Tian, you'd have ended up at a dead end too. It's fine. So...
Xinyue Kiosk. He only went in briefly. Upei and I were watching outside. A few moments later, a man dressed in a completely different outfit came out. Upei had a feeling that it was him, but we couldn't get close enough to I figured that if we spooked him, it would undo what we've accomplished today so far. Another option would have been to arrest him there and then. So I stopped Upei, and I stayed here to wait for you while that meathead went to ask around in Xinyue Kiosk.
Good work. The fish didn't take the bait, but that's okay. As long as he's still swimming around, we'll find a way to catch him eventually. Let's go to Xinyue Kiosk.
Xinyue Kiosk.
Could you explain to me how that works? A guy like him comes in, changes his whole outfit right under your nose, and you...
Our customers are free to dress however they please. What grounds would I have to question him?
Okay, fair enough, but didn't you think it was just...
Well, maybe I did, but it still doesn't give me the right to stop him.
Enough. Let's tone this down a little. I'll make this quick. Just one question. What did he buy while he was...
Oh, he didn't buy anything. He just picked up a bottle of liquor that he ordered ages ago.
A bottle of liquor?
Yes, a very strong kind. Fiery, with a rich flavor. Not something the average customer would order. This gentleman ordered it in person from us a long time ago. He was only here today to pick it up.
Liquor and wineware.
Where to?
Shigu Antiques. Hey, Miss Linlong. Sorry to bother you. We're friends of his. He's been telling us how impressed he is with the quality, considering how affordable it was.
Sure. Which model are you looking for?
We don't really know a whole lot about wineware. Let's just go with Jur-E's choice. Would you be able to show us the one he bought?
Jur-E picked up his set not long ago as a quality imitation of an antique wineware set. Just so you're aware, we don't have many of this model left in stock. And now that Mr. Jur-E has taken one...
Don't worry. Price shouldn't be an issue. I'm sure we can work something out. But I'm just a little hazy on one thing. Did Jur-E's wineware set include...
For this set, the wine glasses are sold separately. Minimum purchase is 1 glass.
Okay. Thanks, Linlong. Seems there's a little more to buying wineware than I first thought.
Well, don't take too long. We could sell out any day now.
This is turning into a real headache.
I'd just like to point out that we have the self-professed Grand Master of Fieldwork here to...
It's not like you did any better.
My specialty is information trading, okay? I don't have the physical agility.
Yelan, so has the plan failed? Oh, if we can't figure out where Jerry went, there's not much we can do. But
If so, it's no ordinary celebration.
what do you mean?
First of all, Jur-E isn't much of a drinker. On some level, he hates... If he was just looking to celebrate by himself, he wouldn't spend his meager savings on an expensive... No. This is a victory feast. Help, whoever this person is, clearly enjoys hard liquor and has a very high status. Now, where might we find Fatui who match that...
Fatui officials. Should be either...
Have both locations surrounded. Take as many people...
Lady Yelan, is it time for us to make our move?
Get with the program, would you? This is a covert surveillance operation. In which case, we don't need to change tactic.
Great idea! So we just need to find out who Jerry bought.
But Lady Yelan, if we get caught, this could become a major diplomatic...
I'm well aware. But don't you see? Jur-E is gambling everything on this. If we really want to catch him, stick to your orders. And make sure we're covering all other bases too. Anywhere else Jur-E might be going. I want eyes on those locations.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't worry, Lady Yelan. Jur-E may be a slippery character, but we'll keep a close watch on the movements of all Fatui officials.
I'll be waiting for you at the tea house. If I'm guessing correctly, Fatui officials are likely to take action at night. You should go and get ready. Then meet me at Yansheng Tea House. Perfect timing. Wenyuan just sent word that the Fatui ambassador, Yusupov, just left the embassy alone.
Qingshu Pool? That's the place
It looks like that's where they've arranged to meet. Sensible choice. Qingshu Pool is always crawling with monsters. Most people wouldn't dream of going there. It's one place they won't need.
Oh no, we gotta go get...
Let's go. If my hunch is correct, we just... This is Qingshu Pool, full of ruins, crawling with monsters. Anyone with any sense steers well clear of this place. I've looked into the place before. There's a worker's entrance somewhere around here. Follow me. There's been some work done on this place in the past, but it's a bit of a labyrinth inside. I can't guarantee we'll be safe once we're underground. The workers left an emergency access route. If we can find it, this will be a much easier Still, be ready to fight at any moment. Any resistance needs to be taken out quickly and quietly. We don't want to attract too much attention.
Don't worry, we're all professionals here. By the way, Yelan, where are your 3 little helpers at?
They have other things to take care of first. We couldn't afford to wait for them, but they'll join us later. Quietly now. No!
Dodge this! Come a little closer. Try not to enjoy this too much. Cool it!
Windblade!
Dodge this!
Loba, get them!
As I expected, but this shouldn't be too much trouble.
You guys see that? That's gotta be the Fatui ambassador here to meet Ji. Looks like he went through that door. That must be the emergency access route, right? Come on, let's hurry!
This is the construction workers' emergency access route, but it's closed tight. Trying to break through would be risky. Let's see if we can find another way.
Oh, so sorry.
Prepare to be blown away!
Freeze!
through?
Here comes the catch.
Could you frozen in time? Busted.
You're in for a little shock.
Gotcha.
Busted.
The water's flowed into the groove, and now the statues have lit up. Okay, now we should be able to move the statues.
open. Let's go.
We should be nearly at the bottom now. Let's wrap this up.
You're toast! Out of the frying pan, into the...
Things are about to get dicey. Gotcha!
Let's spark things up a little.
Oh, so sorry.
Busted! Take it easy. Cha!
I can tell from the aroma that this is very fine liquor indeed. Come on, bottoms up. After you.
Oh, sorry. That went down the wrong way.
You'll get there. If you want to stay friends with us.
I'll do...
You're more of a lightweight than I thought. Already struggling? I thought you were made of sterner stuff. You certainly kept it together when you... Come on, another round. Less talking, more drinking.
Sure. You didn't leave me much of a choice, though, did you? Just the mention of poisoning sends shivers down my spine. I'm more timid than you realize. Every time I poisoned him, I had to hide away at home for a few days because I was so scared of getting caught.
Look, I know it has not been easy for you, my friend. We appreciate all, but I have to say, you really are quite a genius. I mean, the poison we brought from Snezhnaya is as strong as this wine, but you found a way to turn it into an imperceptible, slow-acting poison and came up with the idea of... what was it you said? Oh, yeah. You said the soup's fishy flavor neutralizes the pungency.
It struck me one day when I was fishing. I'm lucky it did. Otherwise, I'm not...
You have performed excellently. The Fatui will continue to provide the support you need to consolidate your position as Tian Shu. Aside from Qing Shu Pool, we also have some other requests for you, which we will...
Don't worry. Whatever tasks you have for me, I will perform them diligently.
Did you hear that? It was poison! That's why Uncle Tian hasn't been feeling well recently. It's all What a nasty guy.
Hold on. Did you bring the camera? If not, you can use mine. This is quite a scene. We have to capture...
Excellent liquor. We've, seen no progress on the diplomatic front, and everyone has been eyeing up, but soon, everything will be taken care of. And I can I remember when I first saw you. I knew right away that you would make a good partner for us. Hey,
How could I forget? You said a lowly commoner like me could never be seen as a serious candidate for the Tianshu, no matter how hard I work. The only way is for you to shine bright in the Tianshu's darkest moment. I think you were...
Yes. Under normal circumstances, the gap between you and other people could only ever grow wider over time. Just look at your two competitors. Qian Wei had wealth. Ming Boa had reputation. But you? And that's why I decided to help you. You know, there's an old saying in the Fatui. Give a starving dog a bone, and it'll guard your home for the rest of its life.
Yes. I cannot thank you enough for your generous support.
You know, the best thing about you is that you do as you're told. Heck, when you're not in the company of the Fatui, you'll be able to
Uncle Gao said that Jur-E has low self-esteem. Seems he was right. He was worried that whatever advantage he might have now will diminish. Do you have any more film in the camera? Then get ready to use it. Tonight's grand finale should be coming up any minute now. How well this goes for us depends on how Jur-E played.
Ooh, is there any more alcohol? Go on. Fill me up. I'm in a good mood.
There's only a little left. Here, I'll fill your glass. If you like it.
Whoa, this is the good stuff. Huh? What the? Jur-E, you poisoned my wine?
You seem surprised, Mr. Yusupov. How could I not? I've sacrificed years of my life studying and reflecting to prepare myself for this. You really think I'd put myself through all that just to become your little puppet?
You imbecile. It's the Fatui who got you to where you are. Do you understand?
Do you see the haystack in the corner? Underneath it is a pile of explosives. And next door in the dark room are the 3 undercover agents you sent. I'm gonna stay here till I see you slip into unconsciousness. Then I'm gonna set this on fire. Once the flames burn through the hay, they'll ignite the explosives.
What?
I took the liberty of leaving some evidence of your contact with the undercover agents at the Black Cliff Forge. It won't take long for people to join the dot. The Fatui planted undercover agents in the Black Cliff Forge to steal their signature ruin-grade explosives. Their plan was to blow through the solid floor tiles in the dead of night and seize the but things didn't quite go to plan. Mistakes were made that led to the accidental. Faced with the overwhelming evidence, the embassy won't investigate this any further. In fact, it explains why you acted alone, while exonerating the rest of the embassy of any liability. Of course, none of that will have anything to do with me. When all of this comes to my attention, I'm afraid I'll have no choice but to cancel the Qingshu pool.
Jur-E, do you really think you're gonna get away with this? The Fatui has a record of everything. After I die, they'll come looking. And
a record? Oh, you must mean the one in the hand.
What? How do you?
Because when you contacted me, I also made contact with your associates. I have Theophant. He'll help me tie up all the loose ends. After all, he has been eyeing your position for a...
That traitor!
Shh. Relax. It's over. After tonight, everyone gets what they want. And any sweet dreams, Mr. Yusupov.
I did a little surveying on the way here and found that you'd left yourself 3 escape routes in case things went south. I have them all surrounded. If you're thinking of trying anything, we were here the whole time and have pictures of everything.
The game's up? Forgive me, I'm not quite... I happened to discover a Fatui operation here, so I approached them on the pretext of joining forces and eventually brought them down from within. If it pleases...
This is how you want to play it, huh? Fine. You do you. All we need to do to convict you is establish that the poison in his system... Nothing else you wanted to add?
One wrong move and it all comes crashing down. You followed him here, didn't you? I was so focused on keeping myself up. Let's talk about this, Yelan. I gave you my word that I would live up to the Tianshu name, and that... When I take office, I can guarantee that I will act in your best interests. In fact, I don't deny that I used underhanded methods to get here. But
You still don't get it, do you? Even now. What do you think? Exactly. Jur-E, Clever people can always come up with a good excuse. But while you might be able to get other people, there's nothing wrong with wanting to win other people's respect. But when has Uncle Tien ever looked down on? He was like a teacher and a father to you, but you chose to repay that by poisoning him. Whatever positive goal you may have started out with,
That's enough.
Of course. What makes this even crueler is that you managed to convince yourself there was no other way. Uncle Tien was always going to give you this opportunity. Out of everyone in the world, he is the one who trusts you the most. So much that he drank your...
That's enough!
Life is like fishing. It cannot be rushed. Whatever you do, impatience will accomplish nothing. I was just like you once, desperate to prove myself. Only later did I realize things do not always turn out the way you plan, but you have to keep calm to carry on. You're still young. Be patient, believe in yourself, and don't look outside yourself to prove your value. Where's Jury these days? It's been a long time since he last paid me a visit.
Maybe he's just busy.
Well, next time, if he doesn't bring a pot of piping hot fish soup, don't let him in.
Whatever you were thinking about, you'll have plenty of time to mull it over in prison. Oh, I almost forgot. If the Fatui find out what happened today, prison might not turn out to be the safest place for you. Trying to have friends on both sides, it has a way of turning everyone against you. But right now, I have an opportunity for you.
Huh?
Sorry, things are about to get extremely busy for me. Let's meet at Yanshang Tea House tomorrow morning. I'll have someone remove the explosives. Then, there's someone I have to go and see.
Need our help with that?
No, it could be dangerous. You should leave this one to the professionals. Don't worry, as long as they're willing to cooperate, get some rest. See you tomorrow.
Is there time for a quick snack? I'll whip one up in no time. The rain has stopped. Come with me. Let's pick some matsutake.
There is now no poison left in his system, but recovery from the damage already done will not happen overnight.
Dr. Baiju, is my father going to be...
You needn't worry too much. Keep taking the prescribed medicine every day, and it's good we caught it in time. A few days later, and the toxin would have built up in the
How did they successfully secure such a seldom-seen poison? Unfortunately for them, they were up against us.
Uncle Tian will be heading off now. Remember to get plenty of rest and avoid overexerting yourself while you're recovering.
Don't worry, I will. Thank you very much. Ah, you're here too? Thank you for all you've done to resolve this situation. Yes, the exhaustion seems to have gone.
Luckily, it looks like choosing the Tianshu's successor is suddenly not such a pressing issue after all.
Hey, Yelan!
My work is mostly wrapped up, so I thought I'd take a minute to check in here. The assessment process comes to an end here, Uncle Tian. In my opinion, Zhi is not suitable for the position, but...
You have my gratitude. People can change their loyalties easily. I've always known this.
Is it just Paimon, or is Uncle Tian not that surprised?
Don't underestimate Uncle Tian. He wouldn't have appointed me as assessment officer if he hadn't had his doubts about Zhi. Normally, the Yuehai Pavilion would be responsible for assessing the candidates. Isn't that right, Uncle Tian?
Yes, to be quite honest, I wanted to trust him unreservedly. When I first met Zhi, I wondered if he had approached me with a hidden agenda. So I concluded that he had no ulterior motives whatsoever. He just saw me. In the end, even he changed. But I never had any plans to recommend him directly, but I always intended to give him the chance to compete on a level playing field. I had no reputation to speak of when I first became Tianshu. I relied on Ganyu's assistance for all manner of things.
I have to admit, he's a smart guy, and very cautious. The intel suggests that the Fatui saw him as very low risk, but Zhi was still extremely... He chose that specific liquor from Xinyue Kiosk because the fiery flavor would mask the bitterness of the poison. And he chose to wait until the Fatui official... He also installed a secret compartment in the wine pot he bought to hold the poison. As the amount of liquor went down, he'd shake the pot to release the poison from the compartment into the liquor. Afterwards, we also found he had an antidote on him. Had the Fatui official grown suspicious, Zhi would have drunk the poisoned wine himself.
But that's still really...
Yes. Had he drunk the poisonous wine, he still would have faced serious health consequences despite taking the antidote.
How is Zhi now?
Well, I mean, he is sitting in a jail cell. Like Yanfei says, still, he's cooperating. He didn't turn down my offer to strike a deal. I'll make sure there are plenty of guards around to keep him safe.
A deal? Does this have to do with what you said to...
Yes. Zhi's not the one I'm interested in. If he was as far as this went, I'd have handed the case off to my subordinates as soon... But once the Fatui became involved, things got a whole lot more interesting.
Well, did you?
Almost. Unfortunately, it's...
Uncle Tian? Yelan? What are you talking about?
Zhi colluded with the Fatui to try and secure the position of Tianshu. Or, to put it the other way around... The Fatui made an attempt to With Yusupov in our hands, and a statement from Zhi, we could afford to... Also, we'd be able to gain control of Theophan, Yusupov's second-in-command. Then we'd have a pawn... Pawns like this can be major assets. They open up all sorts of new options. Why else did you think I was investing so much time and effort into this case?
So, okay, well, did your plans...
We got halfway. The first part went off without a hitch, and we passed all the information on to Lady Ningguang. But when we tried to make contact with Theophan, he was gone, along with all the evidence.
The Fatui must be spying on us. Otherwise, they'd never been able to respond.
I found out from other sources that the Harbinger Regrator got involved. The Fatui's main forces aren't concentrated here. Regrator was only treating this as a peripheral concern. It's a pity that Theophan got away, but knowing which Harbingers are still looking at Liyue is something. It gives me a starting point for my next mission.
I have to ask, Yelan, do you have any desire to take over the position of Tianshu yourself? I remember you showed some interest a few days ago at Yenshang Tea House. in my estimation.
Oh, that. I was obviously joking. I prefer my current life. There's danger and there's excitement. Although it'd still be a behind-the-scenes role. As Tianshu, I wouldn't have the chance to get involved in anything truly clandestine or face any... All right, I'm done here. Time for me to go. I'm heading off again in a few days and...
Where are you off to this time?
As you might have guessed, it's for me to know and you to find out. But I'm sure if you keep going as you are, getting yourselves involved in other people's business all the time, maybe I'll see you the next time danger beckons. Until then, keep your wits about you. A lot of people are watching you for a lot. If you have any more questions, just ask Uncle Tian. After the recent turn of events,